Hello there and welcome to The Standpoint. How has the year been so far? I hope it's been good. But whatever it is, early days yet, okay? No need to worry. God is in control. We will get it right by the grace of God. Today we have a program for you, as always, and we are talking about women and financial liberation. Last week you heard the young lady, and I'm sure most of you, just like me, haven't gotten over it. 1 million Ghana cedis in 3 weeks. I mean, how? I still haven't gotten over it, you know. I mean, why didn't it happen to me? But here today, we are going to learn all the tricks, how we need to position ourselves for the year 2021 as a women to be financially liberated, financially independent, financially prepared, come what may. So yes, it's going to be an exciting program. And oh yes, this is printed by GTP for our late president, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, who sadly passed away in November 2020. We still remember him. Very soon he'll be laid to rest. May he rest in peace. Give or take, he really did his bit for women. He contributed to women empowerment. His wife contributed to women empowerment. And so we of The Standpoint celebrate him, we remember him, and we say, may he rest in peace. We take a break. When we come back, we talk about women and financial independence. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Yesterday, we are going to talk about women and financial independence or liberation. We need to position ourselves properly. But let me say thank you to Bri Redua for my dress. You saw my dress. If you didn't see it, well, you see it at the end of the program. Thank you so much to her. My hair is by Inshilo Gallery or Inshilo GA. Thank you so much to her. And of course, my face page, my makeup by @IAM_J Claude. Thank you to them. Hey, it's a new year. Come join the Standpoint family. Come sponsor us. This year we are going to be 13 years. In July, the Standpoint is going to be 13 years. Please, are you going to watch it? I mean, sit and watch it. No, it will not happen. So come and join the family to be a part of the blessing, okay? Well, on the set today, I have two amazing women who are just poised to make sure that women, irrespective of where you find yourself, whether you are a domestic CEO or chief executive of the home, or a lawyer or a market woman, you must be financially wise, prudent, invest well. They are just passionate about that. And so they are here to educate us early on in the year so we don't get it wrong 2021. At my extreme left, I have Dr. Susie Aku Pupulampu. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Octane DC Limited. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Pleasure, Gifty. Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New Year to you too. And thanks for agreeing to come on the show. Not that you had much of a choice.
Thank you.
And next to her, I have Asafo Mami, Doris Ahiati. She is, let me put on my spectacles, Henry. She is a senior consultant and lead executive coach at Crescendo Consult Limited and also general manager for Mondia Longevity. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you, Gifty.
Good to have you on The Standpoint.
Same here.
In brief, how has the year started for you?
I would say the year has started on a very strong, positive note.
Okay.
And I say that because we cast our minds back and we see how far the Lord has brought us, the fact that we have mind and body and soul together. And it's enough reason to be grateful to God. A heart of gratitude is what will lead us on to all the other successes that the rest of the months in the year are going to give to us. So for me, on the family side, we've taken stock and there's no one missing.
Amen.
So we are grateful for that. Business is already taking off nicely with quite some demand in January already.
Okay.
So there's a lot to be grateful to God for.
Okay, I'll come to business and we'll get to the kind of business you do. But let me go to Dr. Pupulampu. You manage, you how do you call it? It's what?
Manage funds.
Funds.
On behalf of
Individuals,
and
okay.
institutions.
Okay. How was 2020 like for you?
2020
The
was
people invest.
No, 2020 was a difficult year for a number of reasons. We were transiting from a period of financial crisis where we had liquidity issues running. Then we had COVID and the issues with job losses and all the unexpected events that came with 2020. So if you ask me, most people decided to live one day at a time. So investing wasn't really on the mind of people. If you lost jobs, investing was the last thing on your mind. So it was a difficult period for our industry in particular to get people to understand that even in times of crisis, you still need to be able to put something aside. So it was a difficult year. It was a very slow pace for us in terms of even getting people to understand that need. So it was a slow year, if you ask me.
And this year, how has it started?
Well, the year is really yet to start. If you ask me, for me, it will start from Monday. I've just decided to shut down and be ready for Monday. Okay. And I have personally decided to put the pain of 2020 behind me and move in like a gallant soldier and just own what is left of us, women and everything, and just push positively into 2021. So for me, it's positive mindedness into 2021.
As of Mami, you would agree that 2021 was a difficult year for everybody? Or maybe you may not want to use the word difficult, maybe challenging or whatever it is, but it hit everybody. But one would dare say that it hit women the most.
I agree.
What do we have to do this year?
Thank you very much, Ohinere. Rightly so, stating that the year 2020 was a challenging year, especially for women who are the custodian of the home. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that the ends meet. Whether somebody is contributing to the pot or not, we are the ones that sit with the children. We are the ones that are responsible for our aging parents and other members in the family. And so looking into 2021, fast forward and seeing what will make it different and better than whatever we experienced in the preceding year, I think starts with the stage that you have created for everyone to equip themselves with financial knowledge so that they can make their smart financial decisions. It starts from there because talking about what transpired in the year 2020, it all boiled down to the financial implications. You need to spend more on vitamins and etc. You need to buy more nutritious food. It's about money.
Right.
And then if there is lockdown and businesses cannot go and come, people lose their jobs.
Right.
So it's about money. And so all the challenges at the end of the day when you look at it.
Meanwhile, though the school children didn't go to school, they were still paying school fees.
Yes.
To do online. Yeah.
Yes. You see. So those funds have all gone out, and this year we need to know how we can better be managers of the funds that pass through our hands, and that's why I feel excited to be here today, so we can share what we know, and I believe that someone will be motivated, and somebody may pick a new idea on how to financially identify opportunities, so they can stretch the opportunities that are out there. And then at the end of the year, have good reason to say that it's been a better year than the year 2020.
You know, talking about opportunities and seizing opportunities, 2021 brought some of us, opportunities that we thought we never, I don't know whether get or would not never utilize or go for. Or imagine. And then because of the circumstance, we grabbed it. And we realized or found out the advantages or the financial wisdom in doing those quote unquote unconventional jobs. What do we take from that to bring to 2021?
So I think 2020 sort of tested and convinced us of the tenacity, how resilient the human being is, and the fact that John Maxwell would say, the mind once stretched can never return to its previous level. You see that your capacities extend whenever you are challenged and stretched. And that's why moving out of our comfort zone is important. 2020 was your typical VUCA world. It was volatile. There was a lot of uncertainty. There's so much complexity and ambiguity as well about the decisions that we have to take. But somehow, it sort of also aroused that curiosity, that adventurism on the inside of us. It compelled us to innovate. And it compelled a lot of us to move into action from whatever state of inertia that we previously had been, because it's always nice to be in the comfort zone.
Right.
And having made those steps, having taken those initiatives, has opened great doors that we didn't know existed, you know. So going into 2021, how do we benefit of it? Let's maintain the mindset. We may have an improvement in the levels of COVID-19 infections, and we may not have lockdowns like we experienced before. Our budgets have already become accustomed to investment or spending on things like face masks and sanitizers, etc. But we should not get comfortable. We should still question whatever is going on around us. We should continue with the attitude of curiosity, readiness to be adventurous in our approach to things. We should continue to innovate. There's no turning back on that. And I believe that if we continue to approach life with that mindset, creating disruption for ourselves, you know, the COVID-19 infection was a disruption. And it forced us to shine. It pushed us out of our comfort zone. Like the story that is told of the young man that was pushed into the pond with crocodiles. Yes. When he was pushed in, he swam anyway, and he was able to swim and beat the crocodiles. That's what happened to us in the year 2020. And I want us to create our own ponds with crocodiles and jump into it this time. We may not have someone to push us into it.
Did I hear you right?
Yes, you heard me very right.
Actually create
our
own ponds with crocodiles.
Yes. Because you would see that in this world, the people that make the difference, like yourself, are the ones that have taken that initiative to create things that did not exist. I wouldn't say that it was comfortable or easy for you. I've been following you for a long time, and I know the battles that you fought, but see the impact that you've made, the lives that you've transformed. So that's the same way that I would encourage all of us out there listening, women. Let's self-disrupt. Let's create our own ponds with crocodiles in, and let's jump in gleefully, energized, ready to swim to the other end. You never know what is lying there.
You never know what is lying there. Dr. Papalampo, I'll take a break. When we come back, we'll come to you about, you know, the importance. I mean, it's an even overrated question or underrated or whatever it is to ask, is it important for a woman to be financially? I mean, it's not a question you should be asked. It's something that, you know, you should know that it is important. But I'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to that. Well, let me say thank you to our sponsor, GTP, still timeless. GTP this year, 2021. You know how they came out big time in 2020? Amazing. They came out with brand names like, you know, Lockdown and fellow Ghanaians, and then getting to the end of the year, GTP came out with Adeshe Insroma, the first ever, you know, fabric lace produced by GTP. I mean, it's amazing what they did a latter part of 2020, but that was also creating a pond with crocodiles and swimming through. Thank you to Esteron Balloons and Accessories, who also, I mean, amazingly decided that even at the age of 50, I qualified to be a brand, you know, influencer for them. But everything balloons and accessories. Valentine's Day is coming. They have restocked. Balloons are for all occasions. They have all the accessories for your Valentine's surprises and everything. Contact them and they will sort you out. Why are you separate? Next week, Saturday, I'll be 51. 23rd January. I'm going to be 51. We take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Welcome back to The Standpoint, Women and Financial Liberation or Independence. Again, I say thank you to our supporters, Royal Drinks by Casapreco Company Limited, and our Wick Mineral Water, also by Casapreco Company Limited. Thank you to Yep Cleaning Services. Before the holidays, they came to my house and did thorough cleaning. I mean, thorough cleaning, amazing. Everybody in my home was impressed. Thorough cleaning, I'm telling you, cleaned everything. And they are the ones to go for. And I'm not saying because they are partners, but I was amazed. They really descended on my home and cleaned up. I didn't know my house was needed that much cleaning, but it was amazing. Whatever event you're having, just call them. They'll clean up after you, your office, whatever it is, they will do it for you. Thank you to House of Food, Auntie Vera. Thank you so much for sorting us out this past Christmas and New Year at Dumasa. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you to our supporters, Kodam's Gift and Stationery. Again, Valentine's Day is coming. Go there, get your cards, get your gifts, and you are sorted. Thank you to Dream Over Hooper, our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh. Remember, this program is on 6 platforms. It's on Joy Prime on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. It's on EBN TV on Saturdays at 7 p.m. True TV on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. We also stream on Facebook on Sundays at 8 p.m. YouTube Sundays 8 p.m. and our website www.thestandpoint.com.gh, powered by Dream Over, Sundays at 8 p.m. 6 platforms. And why are you not sponsoring us to get the exposure that you need? Thank you so much to all of them. Dr. Populampu, this year, if we say, of course, I mean, some of us lost a lot. Some also gained. But if we decide that we want to be liberated financially, what is it going to take?
Gifty, earlier on you were struggling to find the right description to place the relevance of women in the home or in the corporate world.
Yeah.
We are at the point of transformation wherever we find ourselves, whether it is home or the corporate world. And we know the relevance of women wherever it is. So it is not an understatement to play down on the independence of the woman financially. And we cannot move away from the conversation that when you equip a woman, be it knowledge or commercially or financially, you do something good for the society.
Right.
So to answer your question about the place of woman or how relevant it is to liberate the woman, I would say at this point that when you equip a woman to do something, you are resourcing her for transformation in the workplace or in the family. So we go on the crusade of saying that we should not depend on the men for every resources that we need to support. Yes, it's good that you have a partner, but it comes back to you to make sure you understand the need to build something for yourself. It's the only way you have independence when it comes to taking personal decisions about certain things.
Right.
Because you need to own your life. And sometimes you need a bit of vex money.
Yeah.
Money that you can fall back on, just in case your partner is unable to support you.
Right.
So we push the agenda that women should move away from the notion that the man must always provide for you. You must understand the need. You spoke about CEO, a housewife who is a CEO at the home.
Domestic CEO.
Domestic CEO.
Yeah.
The fact that you are not earning money in a formal organization does not mean you should not build a discipline of saving. For most of the women who lost their jobs, or for most people who lost their job in 2020 because of COVID and all that, the savior was what they put aside. So if you don't have anything to fall back on, it becomes very difficult for you to move on. And I keep saying that if you don't invest, you will not create wealth.
Right.
For me, the push is from being rich to being a wealthy person.
Right.
There's a gap there.
What's the difference?
The fact that you have money in your current account, you have cash under your bed, does not mean you are wealthy. When we build portfolio for clients, cash is between 5 to 10%. Everything else is put into something that is making money for you. That is how you create the wealth. Putting your money into something that is working for you on a regular basis. And that discipline is something you must build very early in your life. I keep telling people that your national service is when you begin to think about your pension.
Right.
Because it will come. So if you don't have pension on your mind with your first income, and you wait till you are 50, 55, gives you are 51, before you begin to think about pension, things may be a bit too late for you.
But we take a lot for granted, especially as the women. Sometimes we wait till the children come. And sometimes children come and we think the man is there and will do everything. But I keep telling people that since I had a child, I've understood the importance of you, the woman, having money. When I'm able to take my child out and buy things for her myself, the kind of joy that fills my heart, knowing the money is from me. Now you go on social, people make, oh yes, the man's money is sweeter and everything. But I think you spending your own money is sweet. It gives you some kind of swag.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
True. So I want to come at it from the perspective of some work that has been done by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Right.
They have this international network on financial education that has done quite a lot of research because they are committed to identifying the need areas, the gender arm, so that they are able to provide policy guidance and then the information that policymakers need, so that in their decision making and in policy crafting, they would be mindful of the needs of the woman and the girl child. And they have identified that the need for woman indeed is actually higher than the need for man when it comes to finances, because women are a bit disadvantaged. One, so that's clear cut. Naturally, women don't have as much access. And you can think about it in terms of labor force representation. When we go into the job market, how many women are represented there versus men? When it comes to the wage that is being earned as well, the earning power. In certain organizations, you have women earning a little less. The statistics show 25% less than men, according to the OECD. Okay. So women need to put in the extra effort or go the extra mile in order to attain that pleasure of being financially self-sufficient, so that you may be able to take your daughter or son out and delight the child, because financially you have the wherewithal to be able to do that. And what do we need in order to achieve that? It's also been identified by the same organization to be literacy, knowledge. First, you need to know. And so that's why I keep coming back to this platform you've created to provide that very much needed education. Research indicates that a lot of women financially don't know as much as men. And this shows in a survey that was done in the UK. And only 49% of women understood how compound interest works, compared to 75% of men knowing how compound interest works. So you see the knowledge gap. Generally, if a man is going out there to transact something financially, they know and they understand what it is they are doing. In my former life as a credit officer in a bank, I know that when the women entrepreneurs come and you ask them, how much do you need? Oh, yeah. But the men come and they actually need about $500,000 and to come and say, I need 5 million Ghana cedis. And they have it all planned out. They'll convince you where they are going to put that money. But the woman doesn't seem to be sure. And this is coming from a lack of confidence because they don't know enough. And so I would encourage that women avail ourselves to access more information, increase our literacy level when it comes to finance. So we know of the products in the market. When men are going to invest, they will try to shop around to find out what is there. But women, when the Susu collector comes and says this, that's all they know. They'll just put their money in it. And so you see the men taking advantage of opportunities.
We are afraid to take risks?
I think it's the knowledge, because when you have the knowledge, you get to understand, it empowers you, and then your confidence goes up so that you are able to patronize the product. I mean, pregnancy is a whole risk package in itself, and we go through it. So I wouldn't say it's the fear of
we
risk.
struggle to go through, I mean, we rush to go through it.
It's almost in exchange for our lives,
You see?
and we do it. And you come to the marketplace, you see the kind of things women do. Sometimes they don't have capital. They'll go and borrow somebody's tomatoes, very perishable. And they have the confidence they might be able to sell that tomato, turn it around, and earn something to support the family. So I don't think women generally are risk averse, but the knowledge gap.
Okay.
And so we should avail ourselves to learn more. And the more we learn, then our confidence comes up. Then we know the options and the opportunities available to us, and we can now access it. We can now negotiate and command what we think is due us, as opposed to just always hiding in the shadows because we are uncertain and unsure of what is out there and what we can tap into.
So let's start, before I go for the break, Dr. Popolampu, let's start with what we need to do. How do we identify the areas that we can invest, where we can, push our monies into our little monies, or things we can do to raise some money, and why we should not invest all the money in Bone Street and makeup and clothes and everything. But of course, a girl needs to look good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but then how we find the balance.
Gifty, the start point is to align with the experts in the financial markets, and there are several of them. What tends to happen most of the time is that we follow the crowd. Because Gifty is investing in a certain product, and she has told us the benefits and the returns she's making in that product, we follow Gifty. But what is right for Gifty is not the same thing that is right for Doris or for Susie. So the best is to align with experts in the market. And if you ask me, the conversation should start with a financial planner. Someone you sit down with.
But Doc, it's not everybody who can have that access.
So Gifty, what is making you go and buy a particular product? What information do you have? Do you get it? What information do you have to go and buy a particular product? So if you don't understand, it has nothing to do with the returns. The returns is secondary. The most important point here is the risk underlying the product. If you don't understand the composition and how the investment product works, why do you go and buy into it? So aligning with the financial experts is for you to understand the risk profile of the investment product. Liquidity. If you need your money today, can you get it today? Investment is not like having money in your current account that you wake up anytime, you go and you get your money the same day. No. How quickly can you get money out of that? If it will take a month, 2 months, why will it take a month, 2 months, and not 24 hours? So the conversation now must move from returns. Yes, returns is good. That is why we invest. But you must understand the underlying risk involved in the product. And the only way you can do that is to talk to the experts. And there are so many of us in these markets. Brokers, fund managers, financial advisors, financial planners, even the banks have several investment reps to educate us on what is good for us based on our age, our investment objectives, and our risk profile.
Let me take another break. This is interesting because sometimes, yes, Dr. Popolampu says there's so many of them out there, but the thing is knowing the right ones. Because people can let you invest, can actually convince you to invest your whole life. But then, if you're not given the right education and information to understand that, I remember one of my investors, I was made to feel if I'm not, am I a high risk or low? I took medium. But you need to really understand what is going on. I hope you are learning something out of it. Throughout this year, we'll do a lot more of this because I have personally come to really understand the importance of being. I've talked about it over the years, but it really hit me last year. And I never ever want to go back to that point again. So we really need to learn from that. We take another break. When we come back, we'll look at the way forward, what the specifics, which areas are we going to identify. We'll also talk about Sika Ye Moja, financial liberation and the total well-being. Charlie, when you are broke, you become sick. You know, you'll be sick emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, whatever it is. Charlie, money is the blood. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Standpoint. Yes, the cloth I'm wearing is a GTP cloth made for the, late President, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. Yeah, it's one of the fabrics that are out there to commemorate his passing on to glory. My dress was made for me by Bri Redua, the one and only Bri Redua. Thank you so much to her. My hair by Inshilo GH or Inshilo Gallery. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, she's on Twitter. You can follow her. And my makeup by @IAM_J Claude. Thank you so much to all of them. And of course, we are supported by Royal Drinks and Awake Purified Mineral Water by Casapreco Company Limited. Kodam's Gift and Stationery, they are at Cowlin. Thank you so much to them. Yep, Cleaning Services. Thank you so much. And House of Foods, we are so grateful to all of them. And of course, remember the Standpoint is sponsored by GTP, still timeless, and Easteron Balloons and Accessories. Everything balloons and accessories. Contact them, and don't ever forget that when it comes to balloons and accessories, they are just a phone call away. Balloons are for all occasions. Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Just get in touch and they will sort you out. My guests this evening are Dr. Susie Popolampu and, of course, Mrs. Doris Ahiati. And it's been very, very educative so far. So what do we do? Way forward. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? We've been given the information. We've been made to understand that there are risks involved, but don't be afraid. You need to go in prepared. You know, create your own pond with crocodiles and swim across it.
Yes. So I think the way forward obviously would be to take action. And sometimes I dare say there may be an abundance of information, and you may have heard it in one place or the other, but have you taken any action on it? What steps have you taken to make you realize the benefits in there for yourself?
Right.
And I think as far as talking about bridging the gap financially, Dr. Susie spoke about the availability of professionals in the industry, and your concern was how do you know the good ones?
Yeah.
And I think these days, in the advent of social media, it's easy for you to get confirmation of who persons are. You are also able to access their profiles, their qualifications and certification. And the financial industry is so sensitive and unique that when you have misconducted yourself, so we operate according to very tight ethics. And when you have compromised your integrity, it's information that transmits through the whole industry. And therefore,
not too long ago in this country, we had, institutions that stringed along people for years.
yes,
For years. And in the long run, people lost everything.
the warning is always there. So I have somebody very close to me, for example, who ended up investing in one institution that went bust and lost all the money that she had invested. And at the same time, I have a group of investors that are signed on to my financial planning and advisory services that were supplied with all the information and the warning from Bank of Ghana, for example. And there was a huge sum that they had wanted to put in as a group. And they missed the tragedy of losing that money because they got good advice. And this is where sometimes women shoot ourselves in the foot. The other person that lost money is a woman, heard about it, and always there are emotions that also come to play when we are investing.
Yeah.
And so she thought that it's exciting to just put that money down and get it doubled or something. Took loans, etc., went there and lost it all. And then we have a group of men who have a significantly higher sum, their own money, and they care enough to speak to an advisor to find out, we think it's exciting, what do you say? And then they avoid losing that money. So women, we need to sit up. We should proactively go out there to seek out the professionals. And if you don't know where to find them and you happen to have a bank account, start with your RM, relationship manager, or the person at the front line. Speak to them. If they cannot respond to whatever questions you ask them, they probably would refer you. They are in the industry, so they can point you to someone. And then you can also do a random post on social media in groups that you belong to. Can someone recommend this? And you get names come up and you go and check them. I had to do COVID tests for my son who is going back to school. And I wasn't sure how to get a quick turnaround. I just posted it somewhere. I got a number of names, and then there were 5 that were all pointing to a particular testing center. So I just drove there straight. So that's how our society has become. We should take interest in fishing out the information, and then we would be able to land that right information. Once we have the information, the next step that we need to take is, for example, as a woman, you should have a budget. This is the month of January, so perfect timing for this show and this topic. You should have your budget for the year. It may not need to be so detailed down to the every single city that you are going to spend, but at least if you don't have a sense of how much you spend on your non-discretionary items, the things that you really need to survive, food, medication, your accommodation and things like that, if you are renting a space. If you don't know how much you spend, this will be a good time as you go along in the month of January to see, okay, so today how much am I spending on food? How much did I spend on that? By the end of the month, you would have tracked how much you actually spend on these basic items. Food, your transportation, Medicare, so that it becomes an indicator for how much you should anticipate to spend in the ensuing months. Not only do you have to be mindful of your expenditure, but it's also important that you check out your inflows. It's actually the starting point. Where am I earning the money from? Where do I generate it from? And it's not only your monthly salary, if you are a salaried worker, that you should note as your revenue. Sometimes you have side gigs that you do that fetch you money, some little teaching here, speaking there, writing there, or gifts. You have this farmer friend that routinely brings you something. It's an inflow, and you should capture it. Because the day that inflow ceases, you would require additional inflow from somewhere in order for you to maintain your standard of living.
Exactly. Dr. Poulon, that's always the challenge, isn't it? You look at it, I mean, how much am I earning anyway? I mean, with the children, the family having to take care of it, the money is not even enough. You know, how can I invest, you know, at this point? And meanwhile, the same people without that money will somehow survive.
Gifty, if you ask me, like Doris mentioned, you don't need a lot of money to build the discipline of investing. Do you know you can buy treasury bills with 5 cedis? Most of the mutual funds that we have, the initial amount you can start with is 10 cedis, 20 cedis, 50 cedis. So it does not matter how low you earn in terms of salary, but it is the understanding of the importance and the discipline of putting something aside. The ratio, most of the time, or the proportion is 10%. If you are into tithing, you have that habit already, that at the end of the month, you give something back to the glory of God. So out of that, most of the time, we think that investment is after all expenditure. That is the mistake we make. Most of the time, we spend more than we earn. So if you want to hold on to your investment decision after all your expenditure, then you will not invest. After your tithes, the next thing is your investment. Take your investment out before you spend the rest of it. Because if you don't have that discipline of understanding that if you don't put money away, we can't build any buffer for the future, then it becomes very difficult. So it's important for us to understand that you don't need a lot of money. And some of us also make the mistake that, oh, we need to gather it. Or let me gather it when it's 5,000, when it's 50,000 before. We have that notion that it has to be a lump sum. No, investment is not like that.
You will never be able to gather.
No. If you have that discipline of starting even with susu, that the susu man comes to you every day and takes something from you, then you must understand that you must gradually build that discipline. And the beauty is making your money work for you. So why do you build it up to 50,000, 100,000 before you actually invest it? The little that you have, just begin to put it aside. But as Doris mentioned, is knowledge and information. Once you know that, oh, I can even start investment with 5 cedis. And now most investment products are even linked to our Momo account. So you don't have to do anything extra. It's just putting in there that when money hits my Momo account, some of it goes into some investment product for us. It's the only way. But if we don't do that, it becomes so difficult. And by the time you're building up the 5,000, 50,000, something else comes up. And you have to use it for that.
You know, money has a way of flying, you know. When you keep it, you know, you will definitely have something will come. As soon as you get that lump sum, something will come up that you have to use the money for. Well, unfortunately, my time is up. But quickly, let's go through what you do with your fund management, yes, and how you can be reached.
Okay. Well, that's one thing I do. I like managing money for rich people. I make more money for the rich. Somehow it's easier to convince rich people to invest. And we find that those who have money end up having more money. Because they understand. But for a number of people that have, at the lower end, they feel because I have small, I shouldn't even invest. So we invest for individuals and institutions. And as licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, we manage mutual funds. So mutual funds are collective investment schemes. So what it is that you have a group of people with the same risk profile. You pull them together into a fund, and they contribute on a regular basis, and you manage it on their behalf. It's a bit like the SUSU, but this is more regulated. It has all its governance structure and fund office and everything, so it's highly regulated. And then licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So there are various mutual funds that individuals can invest. So we manage mutual funds. We have 3 that we manage. One is a balance fund, one is a money market fund, and then one is a balance fund we are converting to a bond fund. So that is 3. Then we also manage pension funds. I mean, pension is also tied to retirement and everything. And we work closely with pension fund administrators to manage pensions for individuals and institutions. And also, the bigger one for me is the portfolio account. These are people who have 100,000 and above and have longer investment period. 3 years.
So you don't invest for people like me?
No. So if you have 100,000 and below, we'll start with the mutual funds. We'll build the portfolio there. Once it gets to 100,000, then we'll see what we can do for you. I mean, that one is more customized and more personalized. And we are able to do some more innovative things with your funds for you.
And longevity.
So let me start with Crescendo Consult Limited. Crescendo Consult Limited is a financial advisory, consulting, and executive coaching firm. So what we do in there under financial advisory is that we help individuals and institutions to organize their finances in a tidy way so that whatever actions they are taking are actually suitable for them. So for example, take an individual client who once called me, and he had applied for a loan to renovate his home. Unfortunately, he didn't qualify for the amount he needed to renovate the home, and he was contemplating taking the limited amount and going to buy a car. So this is an important financial decision because he signed on and as a client, and he has access. He called to say, this is what I'm about to do. I found out from him whether the vehicle that he's going to invest in now, it's going to generate any inflows for him. And we couldn't identify any inflows. That would mean that he would not be able to repay that loan And so it wasn't a wise decision. So these are some of the dynamics. Also identifying what kind of retirement product, what works for you, products that are suited to your unique circumstances, that falls under financial planning. And we do this for individuals at Crescendo Consult Limited. We also do corporate finance advisory. So we also do diagnosis for companies to see their financial health. And then we give guidance on what steps and actions they may take in order to address their financial need. And the final bit of what we do is executive coaching, where one-on-one, either self-sponsored or corporate-sponsored, we help people to unleash a certain potential on the inside. And we do this towards corporate performance or towards your life. And aside of that is what falls under mondial longevity, for you to have a very complete and satisfied life, fulfilled life. Your complete well-being is important. So beyond money, we look at what you eat. So we do organic chicken and eggs, and then we also look at other consulting and supporting services, including spiritual, to make sure that, as well as positive intelligence, mindful stuff, so that you are completely
human
well.
being. You don't lack anywhere, because you can, when it comes to health, sometimes your money cannot save you. The story is told about many people, many rich people who died very lonely, and their monies could not, save them. So it's very important that we become holistically, worthy or successful or liberated. Well, thank you very much for coming to share with us. I'm sure we've learned a lot. I have learned a lot, and definitely going to be wiser. I was wise, but I'm going to be wiser this year, financially wiser this year, and do the right thing. And during the course of the year, I'm sure we'll call on you again, for us to have such, conversations, right? So we'll take a break. When we come back, I'll give you a bit of me. Listen, as a woman, no kidding about. I mean, it's so exciting when your husband does something for you, when your boyfriend does something for you, buys you a car. But trust me, it's so refreshing. It's so, and confidence boosting when you are able to do things for yourself. When you are able to say that I bought this for myself. This is something that, I mean, very soon my birthday is going to be around the corner. And for as long as I can remember, every year I make sure I buy something for myself to remind myself that this is what I bought for myself for my birthday. Not to say that I don't expect my husband to give me, or I don't expect you to give me a gift anyway. But what I'm talking about is the fact that it's so important for us as women especially to be financially independent. I'm a storyteller. Let me tell you this story. And I tell you this not to boast, but to encourage you and to empower you. During the latter part of last year, I was having a conversation with one of my sons, and I was telling him about, how I wish I would get a car, somebody would give me a car. And then he said to me, Mommy, stop praying about getting a car and start paying. Stop praying and start paying. I just got the revelation. As a woman with super crazy faith in God, I know that I always have to take that leap of faith, that calculated risk, and trust God to see me through. So yes, I was praying, but I took the steps and started paying. And today I can confidently say that, yes, I've been able to purchase a car. I haven't finished paying though, but I've got a good deal. It's giving me a period to pay. But the days of me saying I've a number of years without a car, it has ended because I've been able to get myself a car. I didn't get the money in bulk, but I got a plan. Got the right company to give me a plan to pay over a period of time. Woman, it's beautiful for the man to do something for us. It's wonderful. But then, if there's no man in your life to do it for you, are you going to wait till when? This year, let's learn to do things for ourselves, to invest in ourselves. And I'm not talking about investing in bone straight hair or the material things, but invest in things that will reap benefit, that will enhance our life, that will bring some productivity, some profit into our lives. Let's ask the right questions. Let's position ourselves well. I could have gone for a loan to go and buy my dream car. That's the white Range Rover. But then I decided to go for what I can afford to pay for within the period that I've been given. I remain the woman with super crazy faith in God. If there's anything at all, this year, 2021, my super crazy faith is mega. But I'm not losing sight of the fact that God has given us wisdom and we must apply it. Well, we give all the glory to God for how far He has brought us. And we are trusting Him that He will see us through to the end of the year. In all thy doing this year, be wise and aim at being financially independent. There's swag in doing things for yourself. See you same time next week. Bye for now. Mwah!